Hello, Cosmic Spindrifter here. I happen to interchain with a very interesting fellow. He's a former employee of the space industries out of Pasadena, California, with some very interesting things that he's going to share that have been not disclosed by our government.
United States government.
So, Mr. Anonymous, what have you got to say about the moon landing?
Well, a lot of people say that the moon landings in '69 were fake. The Apollo missions were not fake. We actually did land on the moon. The thing most people don't know is we actually landed on the moon way back in the 1950s. The reason we went up there was to investigate the possibility of there actually being somebody up there. As it turned out, there was nobody there, but there was evidence that there had been, at one time, a very advanced civilization on the moon, as pointed out by Dr. Childress in a couple of his books. There was no one living there, but the evidence was there, and they investigated it for over 10 years before they actually let the Apollo astronauts up there, which was basically to keep everybody in America and in the world shut up.
This is where an astronaut said, "They're watching us."
Yes, and there was the android helmet in the crater, which you can clearly see is a human-like head laying in the bottom of a crater where it had apparently been blown up. There was evidence of huge buildings. We're talking 2 or 3 miles high on the moon that had been damaged either by meteorite collision or by attack. And the buildings are still there. That's why we don't go back. When they send a probe up to the moon, there are restricted areas where they're allowed to land, and it's just generally understood by NASA, ESA, the Soviets, the Chinese, that they only land in those areas. If they land outside those areas, then you're going to see all these huge buildings, these hangar bays, these hangar buildings, tracks all over the ground from vehicles that we didn't put up there.
You familiar with the Shard?
The Shard, yes. I'm very familiar with the Shard, the big glass arrowhead that's 3 miles high or something, and the back end of it's been blown out. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of the factory, which is down by, I believe, Tycho, the crater Tycho. There's evidence of a factory of some kind having been there. Now, whether there's still activity on the moon, I couldn't answer. But I can tell you that there was activity on the moon, and that one of the reasons we haven't explored the dark side of the moon is because there's more stuff over there.
Do you believe that Area 51 has UFOs, flying saucers, UAPs?
Did. Bob Lazar, whom I've met on a couple of occasions, a very, very interesting man, worked at Area 51. I never worked there, but I've seen it. I firmly believe, and the people I worked with the U.S. government confirmed that yes, there are anti-grav vehicles at Area 51, and it's a research and development center. Most of the stuff has been moved, and right now it's basically a magnet for all the UFO nuts and investigators, and there's nothing really there except some older military aircraft and older stuff from the 50s and 60s.
I think that Bob Lazar worked at S1, investigating the gravity machines.
Yes, he worked with anti-grav, with various, for lack of a better word, unstable elements.
So in your professional opinion, you've met Bob Lazar, you don't believe he's a nut?
No, I do not. I think he's scared because every time he turns around, the MIBs are there, And I think he's really scared, which is why you don't hear from him very often.
The men in black are there.
Men in black do exist.
I was told by another person who worked at Area 51 that there are actual living beings from not this planet.
Yes, they're also down in Dulce, Arizona. There is near Dulce, I believe it's Arizona. Dulce, Arizona. There's an underground facility. Wait for this gentleman, there's a little squeaking deal. Dulce, Arizona. There's a large mountain which has a multi-level facility there. And I believe it's the tall grays and the reptilians. I haven't met them.
What else can it be? Like, you know, it's not like he's hiding anything. He's hiding up.
And 3, 2, 1. I've never met the Greys or the Reptilians. I've seen evidence of them, but I've never met them. But I am told, trust that I held sufficient rank in the military that I had a lot of friends. I was told that they're in Dulce, Area 51, and we also have a small base in Illinois and another one in Vermont.
Before we close, I want to thank you for your cooperation and openness. And
Okay, anytime.
Is there any one more secret that you want to tell us?
Can't think of any, but there's a lot of them, trust me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no